What is up, everyone? This is BigPowner. Um, for starters, I'm sorry about my difficulty talking. I wasn't planning on getting on videos or stream today. I just had dental surgery, so that's you're gonna have to excuse me sounding funny. What I'm gonna be covering is leveling. So T Towel had commented it was this last league, Conquers. Conquers is about to end. Um, was his second league. Basically, he had a lot of deaths, and that was his concern. He had getting one-shotted, and it was really strong for mapping for him, but he felt like he was having trouble with leveling. The first thing that I want to say, he made it to level 95. 95 is the realistic place to shoot as far as a build. If you have not ever gone to level 100, you I'm going to give you the realistic facts about going to these really high levels. As far as trying to make your build stronger, it is stupid to focus on going for level 100. Why is this? level 99 to level 100, one level, your last level, is the equivalent to like 2,000 tier 16 maps. Since you lose 10% of your experience on one death, that means one death is losing 200 tier 16 maps, like fully buffed tier 16 maps worth of experience from one death. The other thing that I want to say, the amount of effort that it takes to get that one level, for instance, for most people, if you're trying to go for these, I did it, I've done the race, I've done the level 100, place top 10 for my ascendancy. My first try, and I probably won't ever do it again because simply put, I don't have the time to do the content and do a race. I would have to focus on one or the other, and I've chosen to do the content creation because I enjoy it more. That one point is not going to give you the same rewards as focusing on getting gear wood. It starts getting really steep on the curve after 95. It starts getting a little steep, 90 to 95. But after 95 is when it really starts getting more steep. You really start feeling it like 97, 98, 99. Those is where you can literally see a big difference between each level, and you'll start feeling like, holy shit, I'm not gaining any experience. And then you hit 99 and you're like, holy shit, I'm really not gaining any experience. Um, the ways that people do level up, the ways that you can power level, there are special maps that these are all going to be group activities first, and then I'm going to tell you how you can focus on leveling yourself to power level. And then I'm going to tell you how I play because I find it to be the smartest way overall for the most enjoyable experience and to make the strongest character quickest. You can do group play. Unfortunately, I can't show you this stuff because servers are down. um, but we have breach stones. You can do breach stone activities as groups. Everyone contributes a breach stone. That means you get 6 breach encounters for 1 stone. Obviously, the higher the stones, the more expensive they are, so the bigger your investment, but you're going to get more experience. The thing I will say is if you're really concerned about your deaths, maybe let other people in the group that aren't as concerned do the boss killing if you're doing, a boss that might possibly kill you in those breach encounters. Because obviously, if that's your main goal is leveling, you want to be cutting out as many risks as possible to die. Another thing you can do, but it got nerfed this league, was the group delving on easy stretches that are still at the correct monster level. So, max monster level if you're at least up to that point, 83 zone, but in the easier zones because you're just going for the experience, the kills. And then you're obviously not going to be spending. I've covered this a while ago. I don't remember which video it is, but you basically play in a group and you just focus on killing monsters instead of like spending a bunch of time searching for loot. You got to focus on leveling. Otherwise, it's not going to be that good for you, because the whole reason why delve can be good for XP is because you can do it in relatively safe areas, and you can just speed run killing all of the monsters really fast. Not not going to be the best thing this next league. The breach stones are going to be really good. We have maps that are really good that you can do once again as a group activity. The reason why you do them as group activities is because obviously getting those resources is going to cost you currency, and by doing them with a group where everyone contributes one, you get 6 of them, and you also get bonus experience from each player that's doing them. Poor Joy's Asylum is one of the best um, historically maps to use, because it has a base amount of experience that is given to you. You get 150% increased experience gained at all of the levels. It used to just be a tier 9 map, so very quickly the diminished level would make it so that there would be less rewards for you. However, now it goes up to tier 14. So you can get a higher tier version of it, so it can be more rewarding for group activities to power level up, to get your level goal, whatever your level goal may be. The other thing, if you're focusing more on solo play, or you don't have the currency to invest into this type of stuff, and that's kind of the thing that I'm telling you, is if you're focusing on leveling instead of maximizing your currency, instead, you are spending your resources to focus on leveling. So you have to understand that. You are Anytime you focus on something, that's your focus. That's where your resources are going to be going to. That's where your focus is going to be to. This is the reason why I don't really generally focus on leveling except in a power level situation, which is normally like my second character. I've already made my currency. Now I want to get the second character up to the 90s very fast, so I'm going to invest some currency into this character, because now at this point the currency investment isn't a big deal, but spending a bunch of time slower leveling my character is going to be a bigger waste of my time, because the currency I can earn with my character that's already geared, the time that I would be losing slower leveling this new character would be better spent by just, buying the resources to power level this character in a safe, very efficient way. However, for a league start, that's not true. Going into the map crafting, you'll understand. If I'm playing maps to focus on leveling up, you can do this. You want to play the highest tier map that you can, and then you roll easy mods on it. Then you use cheap sextants to just add a bunch of monster quantity to it. Why do we do it this way? Because the highest monster level is going to reward the most experience per kill. By putting easy mods on it, we're making it super easy. Like you use an alchemy, which I would be demonstrating this, but the server's down. I'm trying to get this out before the league launches. You use an alchemy, and then you're going to change it with alterations, and then you're going to upgrade it with a regal till you have a super easy map. You can also pre-chisel it to add more quantity base to it, more percentage increase to it, without making it any more difficult. Then you're just going to add a bunch of sextants that add monster packs to it. This makes it so that you're going to get the most experience, and it's going to be the easiest possible map. That's how you can make leveling up the most efficient, the easiest, with having the least risk of dying. Sorry, one second. It's really hard to talk. Um, how is it that I do it? What is it that I do to get the most out of my league outside of me doing a leveling race? I go for what's going to be the most rewarding for me, and I do it in the most efficient manner. I don't give a shit about deaths. I'm playing standard, or playing non-hardcore, whatever you be playing. As long as it's not hardcore, you should not give a shit about deaths. As long as they aren't hurting you, deaths. Obviously, we don't want deaths. Like, it's not my goal. Like, I'm like, shit, I want to die right now. I'm gonna let this character kill me. That's not what I'm saying. You're going to get less deaths the more skilled you become with a build, the more skilled you become with the game. Once you start recognizing things that are dangerous, once you start recognizing attack animations so that you can dodge them, you're going to become a lot better at not dying. This comes with experience. That being said, I've said this a bunch of times. Rushing through acts, I don't give a shit about dying unless it's putting my progress back. If I have to die 5 times, 10 times, if you have to die 20 times to get that final boss done to move on to the next zone, and that's the fastest way to do it, that's how you should do it. You shouldn't give a shit because it immediately spawns you right there and you jump right back in and you're continuing to fight it. What's the other alternative? I have to go spend a bunch of time to not die? That's stupid. My goal is to get through the acts as quickly as possible, to get all my objectives done, to start then getting my levels the quickest way that I can, which that's getting to a zone where I can start advancing. I want to get as high into the maps as possible, as quick as possible, so I can start getting the good loot, so that I'm one of the first people, or so I can get there as quickly as possible. So my drops are going to be as valuable as possible, because the earlier in the league that I get to those drops, the more valuable they're going to be. I want to, get to the new delirium at the highest tier, because that's going to be the new cluster jewels. They're going to be the most expensive that they're going to be all league, the earlier on in the league. I want to be able to start getting the guardian spawns, so that I can start getting fragments, so I can get chances at the super uber expensive stuff that's only going to be super uber expensive for the first couple weeks, and then only 3 items possibly are going to be in that expensive range, and it's going to be basically just gamble 100% luck to make a lot of the mechanics even worth doing. Same thing with all the blights. I want to rush up and I want to get as high of blights as possible, because those blight oils are going to be the most valuable. The thing is the earlier in the league you start getting stuff, the more value you have. I don't care about my deaths. If I jump into a blight and I die 3 times and I still complete the blight, do you think I'm gonna be like, well, shit, I died 3 times. I'm upset that I got all this loot that I wouldn't have even tried to get if I was worried about my deaths? Hell no. I got my loot. I didn't fail the map. That's what I care about. It's the same thing with advancing. If I'm trying to push further into my atlas as fast as possible so I can start making mad currency, I've got bad gear, I'm gonna have some deaths. Am I gonna be upset if I have some deaths and I make it to tier 16 maps, with 100 deaths, 200 deaths, and make it so that my whole season I've made enough currency in my first 2 weeks that I can do whatever I want for the rest of the season? You think I'm gonna look back and be like, well, shit, man, that sucks that I got those 200, 300 deaths in my first two weeks sitting on a bunch of currency. My build's full. I can start new builds. I can do whatever I want. Do you think I'm gonna look back and regret that? Hell no. There are deaths that do matter to me, but the thing is, I play smart, advancing so that I try not to have those super painful deaths. What's a super painful death? A super painful death is I'm about to level and I have death, or I have multiple deaths and I lose all of that XP. This is partially in planning. If I'm just playing to advance and I realize at the end of a map I'm 10% away from a level, or I'm 5% away from a level, do you think I'm going to be like, all right, well, it's time to try the hardest map that I've done yet? Hell no. I'm going to be like, I know I can do this map over here, and it's still going to be beneficial to me. It's only a tier 10 instead of a tier 14, but I still need to get this completion done. But I'm going to be able to get enough experience in this map. Maybe I need a couple maps at this lower tier, but it's going to, give me my guaranteed level. That's what I'm going to do. If I'm getting close to a level, If I'm, this 5-10% away from a level and I just spawn serious, do you think I'm going to be like, well, I better jump right into serious? Hell no, because there's a high chance early game I'm going to wind up dying. What is it I'm going to do? I'm going to be like, all right, it's only going to take me a couple more maps to get my level. I'll do the one or two more maps and then I'll try Sirius. Why? Because if I've just leveled, I have nothing to lose. I can fight Sirius, and as long as I beat him, then my goal is completed. If I have several deaths in it and I started with 0 XP or close to 0 XP, who gives a shit about the deaths? I didn't lose anything. I completed my goal of killing him and getting my loot. That's what I care about. So the deaths don't matter. At a certain point, I stop caring about XP. Early game or wherever you're at, there's kind of going to be like a curve to your gear and how efficiently you can level to get to the next area. And this is kind of something you have to feel. If I know I'm in really bad gear and I'm say like level 85 and I know I can start pushing tier 15, tier 16, but it's unrealistic for me to be able to efficiently run this stuff and level up. That's not going to be my focus then to level up. I'm just going to be trying to push harder content to get to get my to get my gear, because around like once you start getting into the 80s, the experience is not as easy. Like right out of maps, right out of acts, the thing is you're super low level and you can gain like a whole level in one map even if you get deaths. And then it kind of gets to the point where, pushing forward into your maps at those early levels, you can have a couple deaths and you can still be gaining XP. This is where I still will push, and I'm like, all right, as long as I'm getting a net gain of XP from the maps, because in really early levels, until you start getting up to like 75, 80, I don't even care about upgrades. I don't care about deaths. Why is that? Because the XP curve is so high, the gains are so high that I'm not going to worry about buying gear, because I'm going to level up so fast that those couple deaths that I get in maps, as long as I'm not failing the maps, it's still beneficial to me. The flip side of this is some people will be like, well, shit, I just got to maps and I'm dying on every single map. I'm going to go buy gear. Let's say you're level 60, you go buy gear. You don't even have access to the highest tier gear. You just wasted currency. All of those that stuff you bought is basically just wasted, because you're going to level up 10, 15, 20 levels in a matter of a couple hours even if you're doing poorly. That's the reason why I strategize like this, is because I don't want to be wasting the things that are actually important trying to prevent something that isn't important. What is it that deaths matter at the end of the day? They shouldn't mean anything, because like I said, if you have two hypothetical situations, I have a character that has twice the DPS, 1,000 more HP and is on tier 16 maps but has 200 deaths, and I have a character over here that has half the DPS, 1,000 less HP, and is broke as shit on currency, is 5 levels lower, and is on tier 9 maps, but has one death or no deaths. Which character would you rather be playing at the end of your session? And you got to seriously ask yourself that. Are you going to want to have the character, and these are kind of extreme, 0 deaths versus 300 deaths in one gaming session? But that's real. That's kind of realistic, is like, after the time it's going to take you to get to these 2 points, if you spend the time have no deaths, you'll probably actually be even further back. You'll probably still be an axe, honestly, when this character is in red maps. And that's the realism. You can try and find some middle ground, but the way that I play, the way that I do so well, is I don't give a shit about the deaths. The only time I care about deaths is strategically. If I'm already at a place I'm close to level, I'm going to play smart to ensure that level. Then when I'm at low XP, I'm going to do the hard stuff where I know I'm going to die at. And the thing is there's kind of like a sweet point to, I know I'm probably going to die in this map, but I also know I'm not going to fail it because I've got 6 portals. You don't want to be doing stuff that's so hard that you're actually failing maps. It's not what I'm telling you. There's dangerous stuff that to advance, you're going to have a high likelihood of dying, but avoiding content to prevent deaths when you don't have anything to lose is stupid. I hope that this helps you guys. As far as leveling, to be a real quick summary, when I focus on, this is exactly how I focus my league in general. I rush axe. I don't care about deaths. The only deaths I try to avoid, outside of, just like playing better so that I don't die, which is what everyone should be doing all the time, is trying to get better so that through skill you can beat stuff, die less in the same gear that you would have just simply having lower skill, which everyone's skill is going to continue to get better the more you play. Through axe, I don't care about deaths at all. There's no penalty. The only penalty is if I've ran through a zone and the death is going to cause me to teleport back, I'm going to have to rerun the same area. Those are the deaths that I care about because it has put me further back and has made it so that I'm stuck in axe longer. Kitava. If I have horrible shit gear and I just have to throw my character 30 deaths to get her done, cool. I'm done with her. I'm not going to go buy gear that's going to be outdated. That's stupid. I'm not going to stress and get pissed off and slam my keyboard and let me ruin my time. Hell no. I'm just going to, get her done. Once I get to maps, I'm going to jump into maps as quickly as possible, and I'm going to start doing them until I get probably at least over 70, depending on how it's running. The way that I measure my leveling is how much experience I'm getting in my advancement of maps versus the average, basically, of deaths. As long as I'm in a green zone, where me doing the harder maps with my average deaths is still giving me a net gain XP, I continue doing that. Once the margin for my net gain starts getting really, really low, it starts pushing really low, or starts getting into an average of a negative. If it's in an average of a negative, 100%, it's time to do my ascendancies because that's a guaranteed increase to my strength. Once you get over level 70, you can start thinking about investing your resources into buying items. I like to buy items as late as possible because I'm giving myself more chances to get drops. The simple fact is there's really easy levels to gain. You're going to have chance for drops as you get higher into levels. You've had more chances to drop. When you have nothing, luck on anything is going to fill a slot. If you invest every little bit of currency as you get it, you have a high chance that something's just going to quickly drop that's going to replace that, and that currency will have been wasted. So smart purchases. Once you get ascendancies, I told you guys how to do that. Back to mapping. I'm still pushing. I'm gonna push as high as I can, as quickly as I can. The goal is to get to the most rewarding zones so that I can get geared as quickly as possible. What makes leveling easier? Having better gear. When you have no gear, what are the biggest gains after you get the easiest to gain levels? Adding better gear. At a certain point, your gear starts getting so strong that it starts becoming hard to upgrade. That's when getting more levels becomes important again, because what is easier to get, gear upgrades or levels? The answer to that is the thing that you should be focusing on. If I have the world to gain in gear and levels start getting hard to get, am I going to spend my focus time to get one passive point? No, I'm going to focus on currency to get my gear up. The amount that you can gain from gears versus 5 points is night and day. The amount of increases that you can gain from the gear is just crazy higher than a few points. And once you have better gear, those levels just become easier to get because, when you have no gear, those level 1 maps can feel really hard. When you have, you know, 10 exalts of gear, level 10 maps feel like a breeze. You can just walk through them. Do what's going to get you the most gains. Do what at that time is the best for you. In general, from league start, what always has made me do better is focusing on generating currency, because having stronger gear just makes the content easier for you. I hope that this video is helpful for you guys. If you guys have more questions, let me know. Peace. And good luck with your guys' season start. I'm really stoked about this, regardless of not being the most comfortable. Thanks for watching. Peace.